Hi, friends, and thank you for listening to the Fashionista Life brought to you by True Fashionistas, where you can sell, shop, and look fabulous. I am your host, Jennifer Johnson, and today we welcome into the studio Achie McEachern.
Yes.
Yay!
See, you said it right.
And Achie is a speaker, a certified life coach, and entrepreneur. Her global mission is to help women identify and debunk limiting beliefs that cause them to hide from their awesomeness. She's passionate, energetic, and candid. And we are so excited to dig in with you today, Achie. Welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here. I'm so excited.
Every time I see you, you have this $1 million smile.
Oh,
And
thank
you're so
you.
positive. I just had to have you on.
Thank you. It is
And
definitely an honor.
it's just so cool. I've known you for a while, and
Yes.
again, it's just all about positivity. But tell me about how you got started on your journey.
Yes. So, I lost my mother at the age of 14. And at that, of course, that was the hardest time of my life. And I unfortunately didn't get any therapy. I didn't get any grief counseling. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Wow.
And 10 years later, at 24, I realized that I was depressed.
Mm.
And I had no idea. I was living my life just trying to fill the voids, just living in the unknown. And I realized I was depressed and I said, okay, I'm 24. I've got to make some decisions. I am um, just living my life haphazardly.
Mhm.
And I just started getting on a personal development and spiritual development journey. And I really didn't even know what that looked like. I just knew I wanted to make some improvements.
Sure.
And I knew that the way I was going wasn't sustainable. And some people are like, well, that's kind of young to have that type of awareness and that, that awakening. But when I realized for the past 10 years, or the previous 10 years, I've been living in a numbed out state. I knew
Mhm.
that I had to make a change. Now, I'm not saying that I'm just, everything was perfect from there. When you decide you want to make a change, that's when like all the real obstacles start.
Mhm.
And so I just started reading books and doing conferences, did a lot of spiritual development and just kind of finding my way along the way. And I got married and I'm from Atlanta. We talked about that a little bit
Mhm.
before the show, and we moved to Naples and I have a son now, and just learning myself and getting in tune with who I am and unlearning a lot of things and just asking a lot of questions. That's really where it starts. It really starts with asking a lot of questions
Mhm.
because for years I was upset. I was upset that my mom died.
Mhm.
I was upset that she left, but I didn't even know I was upset.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea that I was mad at her.
Oh, you were
That she,
mad.
I didn't
Wow.
I didn't know. I didn't even know that was a thing. Because
Mhm.
when someone passes on, you may think that we have a tendency to like make them the angel, right? And my mom was a
Mhm.
wonderful person, but you tend not to have, unless that person has really hurt you or harmed you, you
Mhm.
tend not to have negative thoughts about the person who's
Right.
passed on, right? And I was talking to someone and it occurred to me that I'm mad that or I was mad that she left.
Mhm.
And so I kind of just ignored all the feelings that came along with losing her. I did not know. So becoming aware of that is like really what started my journey. And just, it wasn't like one specific thing I did, but just kind of allowing myself to say, okay, this is where I am and I want some changes. Let's just see what happens. And then later on, I got more specific.
That is and at such a young age,
Yes.
it's profound.
Yeah.
To go, you know what? I'm not feeling 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% who I used to be or who I want to be.
Right.
So how do we fix it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
really amazing. And then, so that leads you into what we're talking about today,
Yes.
limiting beliefs.
Yes.
We've all been there.
Yes.
We've all heard it in one way, shape, or another.
Yes.
And we all have things that are holding us back because,
Mhm.
someone told us that we were this, or someone told
Mhm.
from a young age.
Yes.
I remember for me, it was, oh, she can't do math. To this day, I
Ah,
can't do math
because you think you can't do
because I
math.
think I can't.
Yes.
Right? Because that's what and my
Mhm.
grades reflected it in school.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I would never raise my hand and say, "Oh, yes, I can
Mhm.
solve that problem," or I know all about that.
Mhm.
Never, because I was always told I couldn't do math.
Wow. Says the woman who has an uber successful
Still can't do
resale
math.
business.
I say I don't math. That's what I
But
say.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Do you
Right.
see how it doesn't matter?
Right.
That's literally just a belief that you have in your mind that does not matter.
And that's so true. And I have a little saying that Other people's opinions of you are none of your business.
None of your business, because other people's opinions of you is not about you, it's about them.
Right. But it's so hard when you're in the trenches
Mm-hmm.
until you are able to step outside of that to go, oh, I
Yeah.
see what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So that's what we call a blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this, think of this like this circle of knowledge, right? So you have a portion of the circle where you know what you know, then you have what you don't know, and then you have like you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the blind spots. So for instance, I know I don't know Mandarin. I know I don't know how to fly a plane. I know I've never been to Australia, right? But the things that you don't know, that's where those limiting beliefs fall in,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the place where you have a lot of breakdown, a lot of conflict, because you're showing up in a way that you're not even aware is damaging to the people around you.
Right.
And so you start projecting on people, like the people who may have told you, you're not good at math. You can't do this. You can't do that. They're just projecting their own fears onto you, or their own inadequacies onto you, because everyone has a filter, right?
Right.
And the filter is based on how you've grown up, what you've been told, what you've seen your life experiences. So that's your filter. And some of us have dirty filters.
Mm-hmm.
So our thoughts and ideas about ourselves, that's how we project on others.
Because it's all you remember.
That's all you remember.
You don't hear the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like listening to the news and all you hear is bad news. And then all of a sudden you hear a good, oh, this is a good Samaritan. You don't remember that.
You don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Our brain processes that differently.
So how do you change that process in your brain?
Yeah.
To stop thinking that way and start looking at it the other way?
So I think the first step is identifying what your limiting belief is.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with awareness. I would say the first step to any level of transformation is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, like I said earlier, we are busy being and not, or excuse me, we're busy doing and not being.
Like autopilot.
Exactly. And we saw the breakdown of that in 2020.
Oh, we did.
Okay. When we all had to start being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And outside of the pandemic, people went bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce rate was through the roof. People relocated. Like, so much change happened because it forced everyone to stop and say, what am I doing? Where am I at?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I want to go? What's happening with my life? It's time to make some changes. But when you're on autopilot, you're go, 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 go. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I think the first step is understanding what your beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
What the beliefs are that are stopping you. Wherever you feel stagnant, stationary, or stuck.
3 S's.
Yes.
So let's repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
Stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Stationary or stuck.
Okay.
There is a limiting belief running the show.
Okay.
There is some type of belief, some type of thought, some type of idea that's telling you what you can do, what you can't do, what won't work, what you shouldn't do. So
Mm-hmm.
becoming aware of that, and then figuring out like where that came from. Like, where did I hear this from? So to your point, I'm not good at math. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who told you you're not good at math?
Right.
Where did that come from? It could be, I'm not good enough. Why do you feel that way? It could be
Mm-hmm.
someone told you that. It could be something that you observed in your household growing up.
Right.
It may not be that your parent necessarily sat you down and said, little Jennifer, you're not good enough, but it could have been something that you picked up on in the atmosphere, in the environment, in the way that you were treated, in the way that you were perceived, or the way that you perceived the atmosphere. Maybe the way that you perceived your mom. I'm not talking about your mom, but just hypothetically speaking, people. I don't know Jennifer's mom, but someone's disclaimer. Yes. It could be an interaction between parents or grandparents or adults. And, because with children, more things are caught than taught, right?
Oh, I love that saying. And I've used it.
Yeah.
I love it. They're caught, not taught.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that from a good friend of mine, like more things are caught than taught. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have sat down with your child and said, you're horrible, you're not good enough, you won't be able to do this. But it could be a dynamic that's being perpetuated in the home that children pick up on. And just because they don't have the language around exactly what it is doesn't mean they don't know exactly what's going on. And then they repeat that. So identifying, well, maybe maybe someone did say this to me. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it's a dynamic that was in my home that I picked up on. And what was true. This was the truth for the home that I was living in. So I felt like that was true for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Because now we're all going to look at that and go,
Yeah.
identify
Yeah.
what my limiting belief is.
Yeah.
Really. All right, everyone. Is your closet overflowing, or maybe your kids' closets are as well? Or maybe you just want to redecorate your home. If you're wondering what to do with all that stuff that you've accumulated, well, bring it all to True Fashionistas or even ship it to them for free. They will sell your unwanted items for you. They take away all the hassle by doing all the work, and all you have to do is collect your money. You can reach out to them online at truefashionistas.com, come into the store, or check them out on Facebook or Instagram, and that's truefashionistas.com. Hey, friends, we were back in the studio and we're welcoming back in Achie.
Hello.
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 I loved our first segment. And what did you say? Your state, the caught, not taught?
Yes. With children, more things are caught than taught.
Love that.
Yeah.
Because it's also for us as adults.
Absolutely.
Because, that makes complete sense. So
Nonverbal communication.
exactly. So we're talking about limiting beliefs and how
Mhm.
to toss them aside. And first, we have to identify what limiting belief it is. I'm not this, or I can't do this, or I'm not good at this.
Mhm.
So let's talk through a few of them.
Yes.
I'm not smart enough.
Mm.
Right? I know that whether or not we verbalize that or not, all of us has felt that at some point in our life, right?
Exactly.
What do we do? How do we get rid of that?
Right.
Or do we get rid of all of these the same way?
I think that I think really for me, I do better when I kind of focus on one thing.
Mhm.
I can put all my energy towards that and figure out what is it that I am feeling right now and what's bogging me down the most at this moment. And how can I change my thoughts around this? Because some things it's a little more deeply rooted.
Mhm.
So it's tougher. Maybe it's a little bit more painful. Maybe you need to go a little deeper and get some therapy around it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Depending on how painful it is and if it's connected to trauma, things like
Right.
that.
That's different.
Yeah. So that goes a little deeper. But I feel like the general process of identifying your limiting belief, or excuse me, yeah, identifying the limiting belief, identifying the source of the limiting belief, and then determining is it true. For me, like at that point, I'm like, all right, I've got this. Because once you
Mhm.
realize, oh, that's actually not even true,
Mhm.
like it's not true. It's like a light bulb goes up in my mind. Like, so you mean to tell me I have been operating my entire life off of this thought or this belief that is not true?
Mhm.
Like something for me that was a huge one for me was believing that once I became a wife and a mom, that's all I should pursue.
Oh.
Yes.
Mm.
That was a huge one for me because I
Mhm.
felt like, or I learned that, the wife, she's supposed to, run the home and manage the home and the kids. And, you may have had these dreams, but that needs to be put on the back burner
Mhm.
because you have a husband and a home and a child now. And that just, your other things should not be as much as a priority.
Mhm.
And so that bogged me down because
Right.
remember that was the area where I felt stuck, stagnant,
Mhm.
stationary. Why am I feeling stuck? Why do I feel like I can't move here? Why am I feeling irritated and frustrated? Like I feel like I want to just burst out of my skin. What is going on? It's like a part of who I truly am, my authentic self, is not being expressed. Why is it not being expressed?
Mhm.
Because there's this belief that's telling me I can't express this part of myself. Well, what is this belief that's telling me that? Well, it's telling me that since you're a mom, especially since you're a mom now,
Mhm.
you don't have time for anything else. It is selfish of you to take your attention off of your child and put it on a business or a dream or a venture. Like you're supposed to hold that for 18 more years.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And a lot of women struggle with that.
I believe they do.
So that was a huge one for me. I'm like, wait, why do I feel this way? No one necessarily told me you're not allowed to, but growing up, seeing, my mom, she had a little side business, but she was the one who my dad, he was a breadwinner and did, made the money. And
Mhm.
my mom was the one who kept everything, together in the home. And,
Yes.
I saw that throughout my family. And then even, growing up in a religious background, the wife is to support the husband and support the husband's
Right.
vision and
Right.
submit and all the things. And I'm like, well, I just woke up one day. I'm like, well, what happened to all these dreams and visions that, were put into my heart before I decided to take on these roles? Do those things just go to the wayside because I agreed to say, okay, I'm going to be a wife. I'm going to be a mom. Like, that's irresponsible to the gift that my creator gave me.
Correct. What about me?
Exactly. So that was a whole paradigm shift. Like, oh, wait, I can do all the
Mhm.
things, and I'm not selfish. Actually, I'm showing my son that
Good
you can.
points.
Yeah, I'm showing him not only, yes, your mom could do multiple things, but this can also shape the type of partner he chooses.
Mhm.
Will you choose someone that you feel like you have to take care of so that they can take care of the home? Nothing wrong with that. That's
Right.
truly a desire of yours.
Mhm.
Or are you confident enough to choose a woman who's building an empire alongside with you?
Great. Yes.
So that changes your generation some, you know?
But I know what you're talking about because it also the guilt thing,
Yes.
it creeps
Yeah.
in on you and it's on your shoulder over here
Mhm.
going, "Hey, you're supposed to be doing these
Yeah.
things, not this."
Yeah.
It's not all about you.
Mhm.
There just has to be that balance.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not all about us, but us is a large part of it. Because
Mhm.
if I am not feeling true to myself, if I am feeling like I am muting myself, if I'm not showing up strong for myself, chances are all these other roles that I agreed to, I'm showing up really small in those areas too.
Mhm. And you have to be authentic.
That's the
You
thing.
have to be you.
Yeah.
And you can't be, put into this box and this is it.
And you're teaching, if I'm putting myself second, I am teaching my son how to put himself second.
That's so true, right?
I'm not just because I, make him my world, which he's very much my world, but not gonna lie, he runs my world. But by putting myself last, I'm not teaching him to put himself first. I'm teaching him how to also put himself last. Even though he reaps the benefits of being
Mhm.
put first now, remember, caught not taught.
Yes, absolutely, because he's seeing you do what you say and
Mhm. So he's seeing me, oh, what you're supposed to do is be completely selfless. You're supposed to put yourself
Mhm.
last. Your needs, your desires, your dreams, they actually don't matter. Everyone else's does.
and that can create just this vicious cycle of
A vicious cycle.
Absolutely.
And when you're doing that, you're not showing up as your authentic self, because authentically we are bold, we are powerful, we are imaginative, we are
Mhm.
creative. Like, that's our authentic selves. And so showing him that part of myself,
Mhm.
and also his dad, like, man, they don't have a problem in that area. They don't have a problem in that area. But showing, like, oh, I have a mom and a dad
Mhm.
that, operate in their authentic selves. This is how you show up in the world.
Right.
So it's like, stop when I'm aware of my limiting beliefs and beliefs that have stopped me. Now I can change my generation, because
Mhm.
I'm not passing those things down. I'm not passing those thoughts that keep you stagnant. Like, those get passed down generation through How many things have we
Right.
learned from our grandmother, great grandmother, great great grandmother that's
Mhm.
no longer true for us now?
Right. It's a different world.
And we won't say, I love my grandmother, but that's no longer true. It's no longer true.
Mhm.
But if we just keep passing this down,
Right.
down, 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 it's like, what's going to change?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I also find it interesting because I have said this to myself before.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't do that because I don't have enough experience.
Mhm.
Nope, I can't do it. How wrong is that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Go out and get the knowledge, figure it everything. Marie Forello,
Yes. Marie Forleo. Yep.
Marie Forleo,
Yeah.
um, wrote a book. Everything is figure outable.
Yes.
Great book, by the way, and it's true.
Yeah.
Because if I don't know how to do this, that, or the other thing, I can always go figure it out.
Yeah.
I can go online. There's plenty of tutorials on how to do absolutely anything and everything.
Yeah.
So knowledge is power.
You're living proof, Jennifer. You're a girl who was told you could not do math, and you have a thriving business. There are people who will not start a business because they think they have to be good at math.
Mhm. And I agree. Or public speaking.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's a big one for a lot of people.
People would rather die, literally.
I know. And I don't understand it because I love it.
Right. It's like, give me a mic.
I think both of us with the mic, like right now, is danger.
Right. Like, this is going to be 20 minutes. Okay, how do we condense this?
Well, that's our problem. How are we going to make this? Yeah, right. Make it all fit in.
Exactly.
But there are a lot of people that you're right. They would
Yeah.
rather they're too scared to step out of
Yeah.
whatever they're not comfortable
Yeah.
doing, the status quo, I
Mhm.
just go home every day and I put my PJs on when I get home,
Mhm.
instead of going out and taking that walk or
Yeah.
going out and taking a course online, because there's
Yeah.
so many. Doing all of those things,
Mhm.
they're stuck in a rut. They're stagnant, like you said.
Mhm.
They're stagnant, and then they become stuck.
Exactly.
And now what?
And the thing is, those things and those reasons why, like even the thing of not wanting to speak in front of people, when you ask someone, why do you not want to speak? Or what are you afraid of? Oh my God, it's I don't sound good on the microphone. I don't look good in front of the camera or on stage. I don't want people looking at me. I don't want them to see this. I
Mhm.
don't like the way my face looks. My ankles are too fat. My wrists are too skinny. My arms are
Mhm.
not tanned enough. It's like all these things that you believe about yourself. It's like none of that actually matters. Or someone told me that I'm ugly, or someone told me that I have a big forehead, so I don't want to like that was my thing growing up.
Oh,
So, like,
no.
yeah, it's like someone told me I had a big forehead. So if I stand up there with all those lights, the whole audience is going to see my
Oh my
forehead.
gosh.
But you see what I'm saying? Because
Mine was my nose.
somebody told me in fourth grade that I had a big forehead, and somebody probably told you in the third grade you had a big nose.
I have a pointy nose.
You see,
so I did this exercise to try to. Okay, if you can see me on, if you can't, that's okay. But I would press on my nose
to try to make
for
it.
how many times a day to try to. Now everyone's going to be looking at my nose.
Wait,
but
did it work?
It didn't work.
Of course.
Of course not.
Did my forehead size shrink? Of course not. My awakening moment is when I was in high school, and this was when Tyra Banks was really popular.
Oh, yes.
And we're the same height, 5'10".
Oh, wow. You're that. I knew you were tall, but I'm a shorty.
Yep, 5'10", and then with heels, even taller, and same size shoe, size 10 shoe.
Oh, wow.
And she has a huge forehead. And her huge forehead made her millions of dollars.
And when I think of Tyra Banks, I don't think of her huge forehead. Like, no.
No, and here's the deal. Only reason why I thought about it is because she brought it up, because that was something that she had about herself.
Gosh.
And I'm like, wait. And so she said, I'm just going to monetize it.
Mhm.
I'm like, if Tyra Banks can be 5'10", wear a size 10 shoe, have a big forehead, and be fabulous, I'm fabulous too. So it's like the smallest things. I'm like, I don't give a crap about that person in the fourth grade that told me my forehead was big. Like, we got fabulous models out here with big foreheads.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was a mind shift right there.
Yes.
It went from, I perceive to have a big forehead. You don't, but I perceive to have a big forehead.
Yeah.
But I see somebody else who also has the same thing. I'm going to take it and run with it and make it part of me.
Exactly. Because she decided to show up as her authentic self.
Yes.
So whenever you show up as your authentic self, this is why it's so important. You are giving permission to others to do the same. It's like you are now, not permission like they can't do it without you, but it's like you're handing out permission slips saying, you can do it too, and you can do it too, and you can do it too. And so when people see someone that looks like them or represents them or has the same issue, it's like, oh, well, if they can step out and do this, I can too. So sometimes it takes, you going through, your steps, your mental steps. Sometimes it takes a situation like this where it's like, oh, this doesn't matter at all. If I have a big forehead, who actually cares? Like, we all have different heads.
Right. Exactly. If we all look the same, it'd be boring.
Right. It'd be boring. So, yeah.
Well, that was such an awesome message. In closing today,
yes,
what is one pearl of wisdom that you would give our listeners?
Oh, one pearl of remember who you are. Remember who you are. Listen to yourself. Do not deny your feelings. Do not deny your emotions. Do not deny what you know to be inherently true about yourself. And remember that you are powerful. You are loved. You are magnificent. You are awesome. And that literally you can do and be whatever you want to be at any age, at any point in your life. It is never, ever, ever too late, as long as you remember who you are.
That's powerful. I love that, Achie.
Thank you.
So, Achie, if our guests would like to get a hold of you, how do they do so?
They can get a hold of me. I am on Instagram. I am _Achie. And my first name is spelled ACHIE. I can also be reached on my website, www.imachie.com. And also I can be emailed, hello@imhe.com. And if they're interested in, I created a exclusive 6-step process of how to debunk limiting beliefs, identify and debunk limiting beliefs. And so
Fabulous.
that is a free resource on my website. So,
And we can even get the link and drop that
Yep,
into our show notes. So all of
absolutely.
our guests have that.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Achie, for being on today.
Thank you for
You're
having me.
such a wealth of knowledge and inspiration, for sure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, friends, for listening to The Fashionista Life. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and this episode has been brought to you by True Fashionistas. Make your day fabulous.